Kerbal Space Program. Send in the clones. Episode 14. You can go home again. So in this episode, we try to get Jeb A1 back home, along with all the science he's collected. Well, at least what we haven't already transmitted and sent back. And then, I guess we'll see what we can buy. There's still some debris from the second stage of his craft that's out there, but not really interested in exploring to see what survived the crash. So we'll send him up and away here. So he's rapidly leaving the surface. Height of 3.5 kilometers already. Although that's only, where he landed was already 2 kilometers above sea level. I don't know what else to call it. That's what they call it in the game. Anyway, our trajectory is kind of weird here. We want this thing to head back towards Kerbin. You might have to just try to kind of get into orbit first and then figure something out. Anyway, our trajectory is already going to take us 23 kilometers up, so I think we can flatten things out and go from there. And of course, try and do a little bit of science along the way, just in case. So flatten out our heading. And then we'll see what we can do with our orbit. Assuming that we're actually going to try and put it into an orbit before setting up a burn to get us back to Kerbin. I suppose we could have actually retracted the landing gear. Don't need that out right now. Not that it matters. It's not like it's going to affect the spacecraft in any way, really. Or it's not likely to, anyhow. Anyway, start firing up the engines a little bit. Orbital velocity is rapidly increasing. Well, I shouldn't say rapidly, but it is increasing. There, now we retract the landing gear. Okay, 22.5 kilometers up. Orbital velocity is about 160 meters per second. Approaching apoapse, so we can increase thrust even more. Even more would be good. There we go. And our trajectory is quickly spreading across the surface of Moon. Well, we still seem to have a fair amount of fuel in that stage, so that's good. Okay, we're still not in an orbit yet. And that should be enough to put us into a stable orbit around Moon. Now try and plot a return trajectory to Kerbin. Oops. 95, no. 55, no. 36, good enough, I think. So we will burn for that. Ideally, we would be able to get the craft. Whoa, wow, that's really flying by. Ideally, we would be able to get the craft into orbit around Kerbin, and then we can have a little bit more control as to where it comes down for its final landing. There we go, and we should be on our way. Oh, maybe burn a little more. We're still pretty high up in the orbit. Okay. So we're coming into the atmosphere, which will slow us down, which is great. So that saves on the amount of fuel you need, although we seem to have a lot of fuel left in this spacecraft. Anyway, tried doing an experiment high over the moon. Not a lot of data there, but write it down anyway, because it is worth something. May not be worth a lot, but it's worth something. Okay, set an alarm and go. Oh, and I think that's Minimus off to the, I guess, right and above the craft. It's like it's following us. Okay, well, let's retract the panels so they don't get ripped off in the atmosphere. Although at this point I don't know if we're going to need them so badly, but I'm thinking we're going to be making at least one more trip around the planet before we come in for landing. But I could be wrong. And there's sunrise. And the craft is spinning due to the atmospheric effects. And then the fact that I didn't put the SAS back on. But yeah, going around for at least one more pass here. And I'm going to try to angle it so that we're more likely to hit land when we do come down. And I don't know, just causing a lot of trouble with that. So maybe I won't worry about that so much. The other thing is, it'd be nice to land on the sunny side of the planet. So those are kind of two goals right now. To actually hit land and to actually end up on the sunny side of the planet. That's interesting. I'm trying to set up a node there. It's already well inside the atmosphere. I'm not sure it will be very effective. Strange. Maybe I'll clue into that. Can only hope. Until we time warp some more. And we're into the atmosphere again. Well, it looks like we're going to be landing in water. And in the dark. But at least he should have a safe return to the planet. So we're about 1.5 kilometers a second. 24 kilometers up. And we will most definitely be landing in the water, in the ocean. 21 kilometers up and still over 1 kilometer a second. And this thing's starting to spin a little bit. Yeah, it's quite the spacecraft we've got there. Oh. And we're just below Mach 2. Speed is rapidly decreasing. The re-entry effects have ended. And it looks like trying to get some more science, and we'll deploy that chute to slow us down, kind of straighten out our trajectory as well, and deploy the rest of the parachutes. And it says we're about 6 kilometers up still, and at about 150 meters per second for speed. Trying to get some science. Scan while flying over Kerbin. Okay. Log temperature. Oh. Collected. Yeah. Okay. Write that down. Okay. So we're a kilometer up now, falling at 90 meters per second. Parachutes have opened. So I'm assuming I sped it up a little bit there, because it went from 1 kilometer to 500 meters very, very rapidly. Although I guess it was falling at 90 meters a second. It'll just take a few seconds to get to that point. And now we're falling at 6 meters per second. And we're at about 300 meters up. And you can see a whole bunch of parachute lines and even a parachute there. And stars. Lots and lots of stars. Alright. Well, it looks like he should land safely. Although, as people have pointed out in other videos, landing in the water is somewhat questionable in this game. You think it should be safe, but not always. And I've had that happen to me before, where I've had guys land in the water and everything's good, and then you send them out for an EVA and the whole craft blows up. At least he survived that one. Okay, see if we can get some science here. Pressure data. Scan from Kerbin's water, collection recorded. Okay, write that down. Write that down. Yeah, already got some information there. Gonna get a crew report from Kerbin's water. Record the crew's assessment. I guess I haven't had that one yet. Okay, gonna write that down. No sense transmitting it since we're not in the sun. Blood pressure. Okay, write that down. I know we've already got that, but if you do it more than once, it's still worth more. So get the temperature, write that down. I mean, at this point we got these scientific instruments, and if they haven't been used, then might as well use them and see if we can get a little bit more science out of them, as opposed to just not using them at all. Okay, I think that's everything. Extend the ladder. Not that it's going to be highly effective, but at least you want to have as far to fall. Actually, that might even... No. Depending on your angle. No, it does look like it'll extend right to the surface. So when he's floating, it reaches the surface. Flying over currents of water, not worth a thing. Okay, Jeb A1. You don't get to plant a flag this time. But you do get to go for a swim. Yeah, I think we need to get him to let go of that ladder. Well, EVA report. Flying, still flying over currents of water. I'm pretty sure he's in the water. There we go. Let go of the ladder, and he can swim. At least his eyes are above the surface. Surface sample. Write that down. EVA report. Okay. That's it. And now it's not going to let him grab the... Oh, there we go. Oh. There. So climb back up. Get back in and we'll recover the craft. Alright. 430.2 science. Plus what we'd sent ahead, so we've got over 600 science points. I'm sure we could buy a few things. What does it say? 690 points? Something like that. And what do we got here? Specialized control. Do we want that? Oh, it's got that landing can. And the 3-man capsule. It's got some useful stuff. And that's got adapters and things and curl attachment system stuff. And I don't know. That's more airplane stuff. And batteries and solar panels. Probably try and get more scientific instruments. That's, what is it, gravioli detector there? Or is that the seismic thingy? Right, yeah. There's some engines. More science can always be good. Some wheels, I don't know if you need them so badly. Okay, so we go for the science. Let's see what's here. Can't afford that anyway. Or is that the gravioli detector? I think the other one was the seismograph or whatever. Yeah. So we could still buy that if we so desired. And then I think if we got advanced, or not advanced construction. Sorry, the other one. That would open up the path to the nuclear engines. This specialized control, if we got that. We can't afford it, so let's buy that. Come on, yes. Let's open up the path to nuclear engines. So they aren't that far away for us. There's some more command modules in that large control. But I think the nuclear engine would be a lot more useful for us than large control would be. Nuclear engines are always good. Well, unless you're like standing too close or something, I don't know. But standing too close to any rocket engine is probably a really bad idea. Don't do that. Don't try that at home. Anyway, on that note, now that we've spent science points, we'll end the episode there. So thank you very much.